What's up YouTube, it's JackalGoldKick. So I'm going to be doing a movie review for the movie The Price We Pay. And I sure paid a price watching this bad movie. This came out in 2023, it was on Peacock. Now I still don't know if I'll have a future channel where I just talk about movie only stuff. So for now that stuff will just be on this Jack of all trades channel. So let's just review this film since I've seen it today recently. It's just something for me to talk about. So this is a horror thriller film with a tad bit of action in it. It has Amelia Hirsch and it has Stephen Dorff. So you have two good actors that I do like. I do like both of these actors. And the plot of the film, very fast-paced film. It's only like an hour and 20-something minutes, so there's not a whole lot to it to talk about. Stephen Dorff and Amelia Hirsch and this other guy, they go in to rob this place. It goes wrong. One of the guys gets shot. They end up leaving on the run, and they take this girl and kidnap her because she was there to pawn something. And they make their way to, get out of there, and the car breaks down, and they end up having to go to this farmhouse. And when they go to this farmhouse, they end up stumbling upon, kind of this vacant farmhouse, and they don't know what's going on here. And they're fixing up the one guy's leg where he got shot, and Stephen Dorff even felt like there was something up when he was talking to the kid with the woman, seeing, what was really going on here. When he was talking to her, he felt like there was just something up with the place itself. So then you have Stephen Dorff and Amelia Hirsch talk to each other a little bit. Amelia Hirsch, he had an interesting performance in this film. He had like kind of this scraggly hair with like these glasses. He had this like serial killer black hair Jeffrey Dahmer look to him, just a little bit. At times his performance in this film kind of reminded me of Heath Ledger's Joker, like especially the scene later on, which I'll get to. But him and Stephen Dorff are talking. Stephen Dorff doesn't really approve of how Amelia Hirsch handles things. He's that guy that I just shoot and kill people, whereas Stephen Dorff is more tactical about how we handle these situations of robbing and stuff. So you can tell that Stephen Dorff's more the decent one, and Amelia Hirsch is more the crazy one. So what ends up happening is they're sitting there waiting. There was news that the grandpa would be showing up soon that the young kid told Stephen Dorff about. So they end up staying at this farmhouse. Stephen Dorff's in the place with the guy that got shot in the leg and the woman. And Amelia Hirsch decides to go, see what's going on with that kid. He goes to the barn. He finds this underground sector of this barn. Finds the kid. He's fucking with him. Plays Russian roulette with him. Acting pretty, creepy and crazy towards him. But just the way that Amelia Hirsch is talking and he's interacting with him, it just feels very like Heath Ledger Joker. And he even kind of reminds me of Two-Face a little bit because he has these like dice that he messes with like once or twice. That was kind of interesting. And at the beginning of the film, forgot to mention this, you had a person that was driving like this hooker, and then she gets kicked out of the car, she goes to a bathroom, and she gets kidnapped by the same people that are the villains of this film. So it kind of goes for that approach of the movie starts off as this kind of film, but it turns into something else, Dusk Till Dawn, which I always like that concept, but unfortunately this isn't an amazing film to do that kind of concept. And I'll get into overall my thoughts on the film and just how it really came together here soon. But it's like Amelia Hirsch, she's fucking with the kid, and then the power gets shut off because the grandpa shows up with the truck, and then Stephen Dorff sees him show up. He goes out there, and grandpa goes in. You see this huge woman, this big ass fucking bitch. She goes into the barn, and she's going in the barn carrying this body, and the power's out, and so the kid runs off. Amelia Hirsch tried to shoot him, and so he's trying to navigate the hallway with his lighter. And then while that's happening, Stephen Dorff is going out there with a pistol. He sees the kid. The kid says, "Where's Grandpa?" Grandpa shoots Stephen Dorff with the dart, and then he falls asleep. And then the character with the shotgun comes out, and then he gets hit with the dart and falls asleep. And then the same thing happens to the woman. And then the next thing you have is they get captured. And Amelia Hirsch, he accidentally ends up shooting the woman, the hooker from the beginning that got captured. She wakes up, so he accidentally shoots her. And then after that happens, you see the tall woman behind him and pretty much just knocks him out. She has this lightning rod type of thing, which is a pretty cool looking weapon. I will give this movie one thing: it has a very distinctive looking weapon with that lightning rod. So after that, you get these scenes where they're tied down, and you really find out what's going on here. Basically, this tall woman with this kind of human skin type face. She's kind of a female Leatherface, I guess, just kind of big and strong and doesn't talk much. You know, we've seen those types in slashers. It's cool to see Amelia Hirsch and Steven Dorff in a film like this, and I do like the concept of, you know, going to rob something, going to do something, and then it just goes wrong. But execution-wise, I just didn't think this movie turned out that great, which I'll get to. But you get these scenes where you see Amelia Hirsch's brother that got shot in the leg, he's getting his chest cut open and his heart gets pulled out, because they basically, the philosophy of the old guy, the grandpa, what they got going on here is they want to take the good pieces from certain people that they feel like don't deserve to have, whether it be an organ or heart or eyes, and they take them and salvage them to give them to people that deserve it. That's their philosophy, and also to make money off of it, because they take the heart from Amelia Hirsch's brother, and then they end up taking Amelia Hirsch's eyes, so he's blind. And after that happens, Amelia Hirsch is taken off as a play toy for that weird tall looking thing. And then you have another scene where the woman is tied up and she's trying to talk the Danny kid into, you know, free me, you don't have to do this, even if you participated in this stuff before, just free me, just get me the hell out of here. But he's not really budging. So she gets injected with a shot, and then the tall fucking weird bitch brings Steven Dorff in. He's trying to get out of there, and, you know, he gets closer to her bed and he's trying to undo her bed, but she ends up getting caught, taken out of the room. He's about to be operated on next, and she is taken out of the room too, and they're basically about to get operated on. Something's about to happen to her with her womb, and then Steven Dorff, he's gonna get his like organs taken out. And halfway as that's happening, the old man is, you know, in the room explaining what his intentions were, what his plans are, and Steven Dorff is talking to him saying you're a sick fuck and stuff like that. You know, Steven Dorff and Amelia Hirsch definitely are the best parts of this film, as well as the concept. But that's about all I can say about this film in terms of the positives, in terms of the things I like. So you have, you know, them getting operated on, and as the old man's doing that, the woman's able to break free. You know, and she tried talking to the kid, talking her way out of it, and the old man says, don't listen to her. And she ends up breaking out of there and, you know, attacks the old man, and then, like, she takes this tank and pushes him back, and his head explodes. You know, this film does have a lot of gore, but some of it looks kind of ridiculous and silly, honestly. And then she frees Amelia Hirsch, gives him an adrenaline shot so he can at least wake up. He had to get this part that was cut open stitched back together so he could walk around. He says, go ahead and get out of here, to the woman and Danny. I'll fight the big bitch, the big chick. And then he ends up fighting her. It's kind of weird. It looks like he's wearing a diaper, kind of. What I thought was stupid about this scene is that, you know, it's shown that Steven Dorff has a gun, and you have all these scalpels and bladed weapons, and yet when he fights this woman, he like sneak attacks her with some kind of weapon, Steven Dorff, after he has his adrenaline shot, he's gonna hold her back, and then he just fist fights and punches her, and then he eventually gets his ass kicked and dies, and she's just beating him to the floor, and he dies. And it's like, that could have been prevented if he would have used this fucking gun. Just shoot the bitch, or just stab her with all that shit. But no, let me just fist fight. It's fucking stupid, man. And then it's just the woman and the Danny guy trying to get out of there, and then the tall bitch brings one of them through the wall with the electric lightning rod thing, and then she gets pushed into this acid thing or something that burns her, some acid shit. They go through the barn, they try to get out of there, and then the one woman's trying to throw all these weapons at the tall bitch, and then they just get out of the barn and it's not holding her back. And then she ends up going after the lady, and then she goes after her, and then Danny, you know, has her stop by shooting darts, and she keeps shooting darts at her, and she's trying to talk to Danny, kind of hear her talk after her stuff was taken off, whatever that was there. And then, you know, she's about to kill Danny, and then the other woman saves Danny by putting all this wrapped barbed wire around her and like just strangling her, basically. She almost kind of got killed in a crucifixion kind of way, like you see you know, when Jesus was crucified. It's kind of that type of thing. It's kind of how they killed her, and then they eventually just die from the barbed wire machine snapping her and killing her. And then after that, you just get the Danny guy and the woman in a truck, and they leave and say, where are we going from here? We're going to find out in terms of life, and they just live happily ever after. So that's the movie, briefly talking about it, going over, reviewing it. What I overall thought of the film is that while it was great to have the Steven Dorff in there and Amelia Hirsch in there, they were definitely the best stars of the film and the best parts of the film. They gave great performances. They were really good actors, and I liked them a lot in the film. And I thought the premise was cool, you know, them going to rob something, and then they end up in this fucked up scenario, like Dusk Till Dawn type shit. But the rest of the film itself just fell apart because I didn't give a shit about the woman they had with them. I feel like they could have did more with the concept of like killers and stuff like that, because Steven Dorff and Amelia Hirsch, your best actors, your best parts of the film, for most of the time, they don't really get to do a whole lot to these killers. They're just tied up and they get killed. You know, Amelia Hirsch gets killed. He gets beat up by the woman. He's trying to stab her and fight her. He gets beat up and killed by the tall bitch. He doesn't really win that much. And he just ends up dying. She ends up killing him. And then Steven Dorff, he dies too. So it's like you don't even get to see Steven Dorff or Amelia Hirsch or even one of them take out all the killers and get revenge, you know, something decent like that. So the best actors get killed. And the least interesting people are the ones that live, which is lame. And, you know, the killers themselves, like the tall ladies, that you've seen that before, you know, some of the gore look kind of silly. And, you know, the characters just seem silly. Like the characters seemed, not silly, but the characters seemed stupid with the decisions they made. It's like, you know something's up here, Steven Dorff. You were an ex-military, you robbed a bank, you knew that went wrong. So you're just going to go out there and, you know, not be aware, oh, I could get hit by a dart. You know, not be aware of that. Or, oh, I'm untied with an adrenaline shot. I could use a pistol, all these bladed weapons to kill this big bitch. No, just stupid. Just not using his intelligence. Or Amelia Hirsch not using his intelligence. You know, not being aware of his surroundings. Not turning around to shoot the big bitch behind him. Or shooting the unarmed woman, the hooker. You know, it's just fucking stupid. So overall, I thought the price we paid was more like a price I paid for watching just a bad film. Cool concept. Great two actors, Amelia Hirsch and Steven Dorff, but overall the film sucked because it was just, it felt kind of generic and it was just boring at most parts. The characters made stupid decisions and the idea was cool, but it just wasn't executed that well. And it's just a very disappointing film, and I just think it could have been a lot better for what it was going for. I didn't like it.